Hello, 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 and welcome to the stream. I see we already have some people in the chat. Dufanzy, hey, managed to get on early. Article is Baron von Haffen, and good morning. Wildzu says good morrow, lads and ladies, and Szeipusz says, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Hi, everyone. Well, hello, everyone, as well. I see also Wildzu redeem celebrate. So there we go. Sorry for blowing out your eardrums, but that is what happens when you redeem celebrate. Also, I see some World Anvilites in the chat, so if you could, please use those channel points. It only takes one. And tell me what your World Anvil username is so that I can have you in the queue to look up your article and read it while you are here present on stream. So if your username is the same, you can say same, or you can just put the username. And also, you can just go ahead and use those WISP points to redeem read my article and then put that name there. I think this is an ad going on. I'm not sure. Some of you guys might be seeing an ad right now. I will wait and see if that is happening. I tried to make it where I can see when an ad comes up so that I can know that I see it says my username is the same. All right. If you guys are during an ad right now, please let me know. If you cannot let me know, it's because you're during an ad. You are probably during an ad. So, after the ad, please let me know if that was an ad so that I can know if this little measurement thing is working for me. I'm trying as a Twitch affiliate. I just became a Twitch affiliate a couple of days ago. So, it's quite new to me. And I do know they are giving some ads on my streams now. And I'm trying to coordinate things so it doesn't interrupt things too much. So after this ad, it seems like quite a long ad. If you are not in an ad, please let me know. Because I don't know if this thing is working. If you can see me and there's no ad, please say, I'm right here. There's no ad. I think that might mean that the ad is over now. Let's see. You don't see any ads? Great. I don't know what that was, and I'm going to try to see if this will work. There was an ad says, Wildzu guy. Okay. I thought that it was saying that there was an ad, which is very weird because I thought that Wildzu guy was a subscriber. So I don't know why Wildzu guy is seeing an ad. That's odd. I will take care of things. Things are weird. So I will try to take care of things as soon as possible. Sorry for the ads. And just let me know whenever there's an ad. Just put it in the chat. There's an ad going right now so that I can know to pause for a moment or something like that. I don't want you guys to miss, especially if I'm reading your article. So, yes, please use those channel points to redeem a read my article, please. And when you redeem that, it only costs 1 channel point. And then you just put your little name there. And then we will know. Byzantian 13 says hi. Hello. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, so I see Dufanzy has redeemed a read my article, please. Thank you so much. And yes, we will get to that one first. I just want to make sure that you guys are redeeming the read my article, please, because if you don't, I will lose track of it in the chat. And I've been doing that for a second, and then I've skipped over some people accidentally because the chat did get pretty wild. Thank you again for redeeming that. And I will find you now on my spreadsheet, my massive spreadsheet of all kinds of articles that are so interesting. There we are, Baron von Haffen. And I'm going to mark you as blue because we just read your article, or we're about to. I'm going to copy and paste in the chat so that people can read along and click those little links that I might not have time to, click all those links. Cedra Haunted is here, says, boo, don't look at me, I'm nasty dragon until I get coffee. I understand that. But thank you for joining me anyway, even before you had your coffee. We are now reading Baron von Haffen. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. By Dufanzy, if that's how you pronounce it. If I mess anything up pronunciation-wise, please do let me know. Yep, I got it right. Great. All right. This is already, there's an interesting character portrait that was crafted, I believe, in Hero Forge. So in that, this character has lots of rings and jewelry on. Very interesting, and the face is apparently not too amused at the moment. Captain Baron von Haffen, aka Gromit, he, him, they, them. Captain von Haffen is a capable fighter and an intelligent sailor. I could tell by the little pirate hat. Getting ahead of it, Kekar is pronounced Chekar. And yes, that's Hero Forge. Okay, it's Chekar. Thank you for telling me about a future word that I would need to pronounce, because that's one of the things that I've been saying about all these articles. It's great to have pronunciation tips, because sometimes we can't, we can't know how to pronounce it, especially if there's some conlang or different languages being used. It's great to have those little tips. What makes him a great captain is his knowledge of the strengths of his crew. His shrewd tactics have only succeeded because he was able to leverage the talents of his crew and ship. Though his military days are long behind him, he keeps up a well-regimented workout routine to maintain a strong physique. While strong, he's not very big. Though handicapped with only one arm and one eye, he has become incredibly able to the point where it prevents him from being able to complete only a handful of tasks. His extensive time at sea can be seen in his coarse skin and calloused hands. And wow, I see, he does have one eye and he has one hand, and that one hand is heavily decorated as well. And even though he's missing an arm and an eye, as it says, he's very capable. So I like that he is pushing on despite any odds. One arm, his remaining arm is quite strong. It more than makes up the difference. Thought so. You wouldn't guess just how strong he is from looking at him, though, as his build is quite average. Well, I would think he was quite strong, so that means he must be even stronger than I think he is. Dufanzy says, yeah, I've even trying to get pronunciation guides in, but haven't gotten to that with most yet. That's totally fine. As I said, summer camp articles, most of them are rushed anyway. Most of them, we're just getting those words out on the page, and that's awesome. And we can just go through later and clean it up. One eye, though his eye patch is stylish and expensive, it is practically invisible next to his gorgeous green eye. It has striking clarity and vibrance, a beautiful sight to behold. Yes, I did notice those green eyes are very eye-catching. Or that green eye is very eye-catching. Yes. Coarse and calloused, his hands and skin look like well-seasoned meat, rough to the touch. One would think he's half salt, or at least has salt water running through his veins. Interesting descriptions as well. This article is quite long, but we're going to continue on. He has a blue Chakari? Probably? Yes, because Chakar is how you pronounce it. So a blue Chakari navy coat, purple Quatarian navy cape, cauldron of the Admiralty, assortment of expensive rings, bag of black powder, and a cutlass. And he has a special necklace of luck. So yes. As a child, he loved the ocean. While his parents couldn't afford to travel on the ocean much, they took trips to the shore whenever they could. He would play captain with his friends and loved pretending to be a heroic swashbuckler. In school, he did well, but was most interested in extracurricular activities. He was fortunate enough to attend a school that had sailing lessons. He also joined the fencing team. Academically, he was average except when it came to history. There, he excelled. His last few years of school, he won championships in fencing and even winning an international tournament his final year. He loved every minute of it, getting to live out his fantasies more and more. After graduation, he attended the Millennia Academy. There he studied naval history, trying to learn as much as he could about tactics. His goal was to use this time to make himself a strong candidate for the Officer Academy and join the Chakari Navy. As a cadet in the Chakar Officer Academy, he was frequently ahead of his peers. Physically fit, studied in tactics and history, and charismatic. He was an ideal cadet. When he graduated, he received commendation and was sent to serve aboard some prestigious ships. Now, I see this picture here. I'm not sure what is that about. A year after he made it to his first ship, the Obor Chakari, war began. His ship was returning from patrolling in the north, missing much of the early battles. When he arrived back at the capital, an Illegese spy, which there's a link to that so we can know what it is. The people who come from Illingal Enclave. Spy called Cactus. Oh, it was a spy called Cactus. Came aboard. The two struck a quick friendship, though duty kept them separate. Baron witnessed a few defeats, wishing he could have done more to lead. After surviving 4 battles, 3 of which he survived sinking ships, he was promoted lieutenant and assigned to the Mackinac as first mate. As a young lieutenant in the Chakari Navy, he quickly made a name for himself with his great intuition and knack for tactics. During the Battle of Kopa Reef, he took command of the ship after his captain was killed in a cannonade. He maneuvered the ship in a key position, allowing Allied ships to make an escape while the Mackinac's guns and lumber covered them. At the end of the battle, the Mackinac barely limped away. He earned the nickname Grommet as a humorous, though grateful jab. He rose through the ranks fast, eventually getting promoted to captain. Let's see. That's still quite a bit. Don't mind if I skim through a bit, please. Oh, I see World Keymaster is here. Hello, World Keymaster is here lurking in the background. Good time zone to all. Thank you, World Keymaster. Good time zone to you as well. I appreciate you lurking. Dufanzy says that bird guy is Szeipusz, the god of hospitality. He is a character I use to invite people to new things. Because of that, I use him as sort of a meta thingy for people reading articles. I got that. I understand, because like sometimes in my sidebar, I will have the commander kind of greet you as if you are a new recruit to Will-O-Wisp, and he starts telling you about, like, things that a newbie should know. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I would suggest maybe letting us know who he is, like by maybe having words under him and say, "Hi, I'm Szeipusz, and welcome to this article," or like have him say a little thing about the character or about the world, because I was wondering who that could be. But yeah, I understand that completely. But yeah, as I said, I know that these are works in progress, so of course there's a lot more going on in this article, but yeah, I think that it's a really nice article that sums up the story very well. I will read more of it later. But you see, the sidebar is the main thing I'm going to talk about. When the contents of the page are longer than the sidebar, I feel like it's kind of uneven. So something good would be to make Szeipusz or Szeipusz, or I don't know how to pronounce it, like talk, like I was saying. And you said that was a good idea. I'll add that. Yes. So that would be another great way to fill up the sidebar so it doesn't feel naked over here. But yeah, that's a nice article. Let me see. I was wondering if we could figure out how he lost his arm. I see that it says a gouge-happy gremlin snuck up on him and took his eye. So, ouch. I don't see where he lost his arm, but that's okay. I am kind of skipping over because we do have a lot to do today. Speech. It says his voice is deep and booming. It is excellent for managing the crew of his ship. Even during a battle in a storm and choppy seas, he can be heard barking orders. His voice is also quite hoarse, almost as if it is coated in a fine layer of salt as well. So I also do like the descriptions you're using. They're interesting descriptions that you're using for the character. So once again, yes. Oh, I do see the guy is up here too. He's the world cover. So yes, thank you so much for sharing this article. It's a very interesting one. And I will have to read some more through it a bit later. A very interesting character. And let's see. Dufanzy says, I've been pronouncing it Szeipusz, but haven't fully landed on pronunciation. That makes sense. And I will think about how I can expand on the sidebar to include more. I might have forgotten to add the arm to this article and reference it in his first mate's article. I dispersed information around articles a bit much, so story is fragmented. No problem. That's no problem at all. Like I said, it's good to kind of disperse information around the article because that helps to encourage people to read more of your world. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And Dufanzy also says, thank you for reading it. Your input was very helpful, and I appreciate the reading. Well, thank you. I appreciate you for sharing the article. And as I put it in the chat, you guys can also check this article out yourself. So you can read more. Oh, and he's a half-elf. Didn't know that. So, yeah. Yeah, interesting article. And I would just suggest also just to add, let's see, add some pronunciations, of course, as you said, but also add links to some of the things that we are not sure about. I do see you linked these people and this character, which is good. But then also I see you have this here. I don't know if that was an error or not. It probably was just the... Oh, you have it where we can see him in 3D, which is nice. Hero Forge, by the way, is a great program you can use to 3D render characters for your games, for your stories, for everything. I see it's taking like forever to load. Oh, there he is. Yes. So you have it where we can actually see him and go around and look at him. This is kind of cool. Yeah, so great. I would also suggest, though, since it's a link, I didn't know what that was. I thought, like, maybe this was an error. But you could probably name the link something else, like, see him in 3D or something like that. And you could put that in the sidebar. Oh, no. My battery's running low. I thought I plugged it up. Obviously, I did not. But yes, anyway, let me hurry up and plug this up before everybody shuts off. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so I would just suggest maybe telling us that, like, it's a 3D link so that we can know that we could click that cool thing and see him in 3D. Because that's a nice touch to add. Dufanzy says, still trying to think of the best way to incorporate the Hero Forge models. The link at the bottom was an old solution. Contextualizing the link is definitely helpful, and I'll go back through and see if there are other articles I can link for clarity and more reading. Great! That is awesome. Yes, you can also use the sidebar to fill up with article blocks of other people's articles, like his first mate. You can, I know you, you clicked it here, but it's just a word. But article blocks, it will be like a full little block like this. It'll have words under it. It'll have the picture and stuff like that, and it would be a great way to just fill out the sidebar. So yes, thank you so much for that. Then next we have Szeipusz. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. If you were still here, I know that you also are on World Anvil, and you would like me to read your article. Vesmasti is here. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. I wonder how many times this has been said. Yes, it's been said a lot. I'm sorry. Don't worry about my nickname, they say. Well, it's fine. Yes, Vesmasti is quite correct. I don't know how to pronounce some things. And I just don't like to pronounce it wrong, but I know that I'm probably going to pronounce a lot of things wrong, unfortunately. It's Ignace Farques. Ignace Farques. And we're going to... Za, username too short, is here. Good time zone. Username too short. Thank you so much for joining us. We are reading more summer camp articles, and there we go. Ignace Farques. And thinking I probably pronounce it right, I have put the link in the chat as well. Alright. Oh, it's a very short one. Let's see. Ignace Farques was the most influential philosopher of Tassilia. I believe that's it. And there's a link to philosopher, so we can know what it is. There were other philosophers before her, but she made this occupation viral for the Dominion and, in large, for Gabora. Nobody knows where Fargaze was born. When asked about it, she always said her first family threw her out like a piece of trash, and bigots murdered her second family. All there is to know is that she was a cursed. Quite sad, but they tell us what a cursed is. Based on her stature and her name, she was of cobalt origin. But the curse can do anything with a body, and you can change your name if you want. When she died, a small hand-painted picture was found on her body depicting her and 3 other cursed, probably her second family. Fargaze instead talked about her travels over Gabora, including visits to the southern marshes and to the Cutter. And there's a link to the Cutter. She claimed that learning about the different species, their lifestyles and beliefs, along with spending a lot of time in nature, were the foundations of her theories. These theories came to the forefront at the end of the Separation War, and there's a link to that, when the various factions of the war sat down to try to avoid the final battle, which would have devastated everybody. A small, diminutive figure entered the tents where the kings and generals somehow tried to make peace with each other. That diminutive figure was Ignace Farques. Even today, nobody knows how she could pass all the guards around the tents. The leading theory is that, being a cursed, she had telepathic powers to avoid detection until she reached her goal. It became a state secret in every kingdom what was said during the peace talks. But in the morning, the war was over. The dominion of the Hobgoblin became a federation, while the separationists became member states of that federation. Her other colossal achievement was to convince the various leaders to establish a neutral place where thinkers like herself could come up with ideas on how to steer the world towards a better future. This neutral place later became Brillensis. And there's a link to that. Unfortunately, Fargaze didn't live to see the day that her dream became a reality. A few months after the peace talks, she died, but her legacy still lives on. And posthumously, she has become the first eminence of Brillensis. And so there's a link to that. Then there's a quote, Fargaze's greatness is missed continuously. And that's Negid the Boar, king of the Dominion. So yes, this is a nice, short, to-the-point article that told the story from beginning to end. There's still a lot of mystery about the character. We don't know her origins, really, but it's a nice kind of mystery. I would just suggest maybe putting some description of her or a portrait of her or something in the sidebar, and doing that would make the sidebar probably even with the contents of the page. Other than that, most things are linked that we want to know more about. I would like to maybe see Dominion linked or Gabora linked, maybe. But I do know that a lot of them are linked, which is good. And some of them might not have articles that are able to be clicked right now. But it's fine. Yes, that's totally fine. You say, cursed is a special species in my world. Imagine X-Men and Marvel. Yes, so I figured they had some kind of power that deems them cursed. Like she had telepathy, so. Dominion and Gabora are not ready yet. Understood. And there's a lot I have to build yet. Understood. Everything, yes. Everything is a work in progress, of course. So, yes, this article is pretty neat. And I would just say, if you add one or two things to the sidebar to make it even with the body, that would be perfect. So, thank you so much again for sharing this wonderful article. Very interesting. And, yeah, I appreciate you letting me read it on stream. Let's see. You said, thanks a lot for reading my article. Thank you. Anybody else, if you're just joining us, we are reading Great Leader of Our People stream articles. So if you have one, please redeem a Read My Article, please. And use just one wisp to let me know who you are and which article you would like me to read. Because that's just the queue system that I have, so that we can not get lost in the chat. I don't know if there's anybody else here from World Anvil, but if you are, please use that little redeem option and put your username there so I can look you up in the spreadsheet. Alright, so if we are not, if there's nobody else present that World Keymaster says, are you halfway through now? I wouldn't say halfway. It appears that I have read about maybe 80 articles now. And I have 325. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do all of these things actually on stream. I will try my best. And so I'm happy with the things that I've been able to accomplish so far. 101 Colonel is here. Hi, managed to make it in. Must be very early there. Yes, it's 8:36 here. I know it's probably afternoon over there where you are. Thank you for joining us. Vice Masti says, what's the deadline? The deadline is next week. So I'm trying to do as much as I can. But if I'm not able to, I'm just going to have one final hurrah where I just go through all of them. I'm trying to make it where I can read them while you guys are present if you have written the article. But if that is not possible, then I will have to go ahead and read them, you know, without you guys present. But that's fine. World Keymaster says, okay. Still not all then, but you seem to be on track for the deadline. 1:36 p.m. here, Colonel. Yes, I know. I believe you're in BST. Byzantian 13 says 3:36 p.m. here. Already finished 0.5 coffee and about 2-liter tea. So you're already filled up with lots of fuel. I do see a couple of you guys have redeemed. Read my article, please. So I will go to it. So we have Byzantian. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And yeah, I say that a lot. I say that too much. I just don't want anybody getting mad because I'm not saying it correctly. I really don't know sometimes how to pronounce things. It is Karla Cemtory, I believe. And I'm gonna put the link in the chat. It is 8:37 a.m. for Maltacrai. Yes, you are probably in the EST like me. Karla Cemtory. Archpriest Karla Cemtory. Please let me know if I'm getting something wrong here. Karla Cemtory was born in an ordinary peasant family in a small countryside town, Istrich at Varga. She is the fifth of 9 children and often takes care of the younger one, while the parents and older siblings worked in the field. She learned to read at a very early age and reads to youngsters. The most available things to read were church books, so she grows up very religious. The priest in the local church noticed her and took her as the church's neophyte. The girl felt like she now has a purpose in serving her God. In the small but pretty church library, she found inspiring books, like the lives of saints and feats of holy knights, that made her dream boldly. The priest realized her potential and did the needful. This is quite a long article, so there's a lot of information about this character. We will skim if you don't mind. Oh, I see Maltacrai says ad started. And Colonel says typical advert here. Right. So I will, while there is an ad running, if you are not seeing an ad, please let me know. Yes, did the needful, says Vesemasti. I'm wondering, yeah, some of this, excuse me, some of this might be translation issues and stuff like that, but that's totally fine. That would be some grammar and editing to go over. You know, ad is finished. Clear now. All right, great. Thank you guys for letting me know when that happens. Yes, so some of these, it seems like it switched tense a bit. It went from talking in past tense to saying she was born to saying like present tense. Like the priest noticed her, but then it says felt like she now has purpose. And it's kind of switching of tenses, but that's okay. It's nothing that can't be fixed with a little editing going over and just fixing tenses and some grammar. I like how there's like a whole like biographies, number 1. Then there's 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Oh, yes, I see 1.2. There's 2 1.2, so that's another little slight error, I think. You probably accidentally said 2 twice, but I like how you've divided this all into different sections and named them different things. But yeah, you might have to go back through, and there's probably going to be 10 of them instead of 9, because I see that you have 2 twice. That's probably an error. You have 2 twice. This little sidebar, I would think that it's quite a long article to try to extend the sidebar all the way down here. But a good thing that you can do is just make this whole thing, the biography, in a full width footer so that it can be under this sidebar. And then just have this kind of centered and maybe put it in a quote box or something to make it where it's even with this sidebar here. And then the rest of the article is kind of, you know, even down. And then also I see that I like how you broke it up so it's not just a horrible wall of text. But you could add in maybe some pictures or something like that, or some quotes, so that it's still not quite overwhelming to read about. So yes, Karla Cemtory, birth and early life, was born on 15/9/1981 in the family of Kurtle and Layla Cemtory, peasants and field workers. She's the 5th child and first girl, sister of 4 older brothers. Later, her mother delivered 4 more children, 2 boys and 2 girls. As in most rural towns, the extended family was around, so there was always a closer or more distant relative to take care of her. When she grew enough, she was put in charge of her younger siblings. She learned to read and often read to youngsters and even to illiterate adults. The most accessible and spread books were the church's ones, so they influenced the worldview of the young girl, and she was growing very religious. The priest in the town's church noticed her devotion, and when she was around 10, invited her as neophyte. She had felt truly honored and accepted with no hesitations. So, we are not going to go over the whole thing, but there's lots of interesting backstory to her. She later became a priestess and then a high priestess. Archpriest. So let's see, Karla received an offer to fulfill one of the 2 vacant archpriest positions, and this time she accepted. Her new friend Blyer also received a promotion, and now she was cardinal. The 2 women started planning profound changes in the order and slowly gathered followers. As an archpriestess, Karla supervised 3 different monasteries and slowly is pushing her ideas into them. Her fame as an excellent leader and prominent healer helped a lot in the process. So there's a whole lot of story with this character. It's a very interesting character. There's no let's see, Byzantian says table of content under the sidebar. Yeah, that would make sense. Putting a table of contents so that we can link to all these different sections. The trial is an interesting point, says Byzantian, so we can go to that. Okay. The monastery wasn't exactly what Karla expected. Her first few days were free, so she spent them getting familiar with the monastery and the people who call it home. She was introduced to the bishop, Grandpa Nicodem, for a long talk. The beginning of the next season was far away, so right now the monastery wasn't recruiting. The bishop could and would make an exception if she impressed him, but that wasn't an easy feat. In fact, Karla was brought here by a signal for a very promising young girl who can become a great priestess, and because of a personal favor made by someone to someone else, Karla felt a little cheated but agreed. Since she had no practical training, she was assigned to a volunteer who had to prepare her. Margaret Volger, the high priestess who brought her here, stepped in and took the task. The girl quickly learned the basics and even some advanced things. She even joined a few acolyte practices where she really showed her great potential. On the day of the trial, Karla entered the training yard completely calm and concentrated. Initially, she had to show her knowledge and devotion to the Ariel, something that was quite easy for her. Then she had to demonstrate some healing prayers and blessings. That was the point when the trial little slipped out of control. A poorly selected curse cast by an exhausted and unfocused priest, misses the target, ricocheted, and hit several unprepared spectators, causing a commotion. Karla was aware of the trial schedule, and she quickly decided that the event wasn't part of it. Instead of panicking, she got, I think he's trying to say she got upset by the interruption. Instead of panicking or getting upset at the interruption, I'm thinking, she perfectly knew her skills are insufficient to treat the victim, so she started shouting orders to the trainees standing nearby. Her calm voice, commanding tone, and clear commands quickly brought the commotion and chaos under control. The trial was declared completed, and she successfully passed it. The final result was pronounced right there. Immediately, with no delay or further hesitation, Karla Cemtory could join the acolytes, or even the apprentices, if she had such desire. She was given a few days for thinking. The day following the trial, she was summoned to the bishop's office. Their second personal meeting was quite different. She was shown true respect. Grandpa Nicodem formally congratulated her on her success on the trial and invited her to join the ranks of monastery students, either as an acolyte or apprentice. Informally, they had much longer and frank conversation. Grandpa Nicodem openly told her he would be glad to have such a naturally gifted leader in his monastery, and would teach her everything they could, I believe. However, they had very little to offer compared to her natural abilities, and she soon would overpass her teachers. The bishop offered to send her to another bigger and better monastery, where she was to be trained properly. It was a hard choice to make, and Karla needed time to decide. In the end, she opted to stay for a year or two as an acolyte, then make the decision. So yeah, that is an interesting point. So yes, if you guys would like to read more of that, please do click the link in the chat. It is quite long to read now, but what I would suggest is a lot of some of these things, they mention things that we're not familiar with, and as I know that some of the articles you may not be complete, or you may not even have articles about it. But there are a lot of things that if you're going through, I would suggest everybody do this with their articles. If you have written an article, act like you know nothing about the world, and then read through it. And like the first thing that comes up that you're like, what's that? Then you feel like you should link that, or you should teach somebody what that is. Like this small countryside town, Istrich at Varga. You don't have to add it, but if you could have a small stub article maybe telling that that's a town, where it's located. If you want to show a map or something, you can too. If not, that's fine. Then like the church, you can link to the church so we can know what kind of church it is. I see that the belief deity is Ariel the Father, which is probably going to tell a bit about the church.
Obligatory associate.
Ah, somebody else has followed me. Thank you so much for following, Aaron Rye. Ah, Dream Cartographer is here. Welcome, Dream Cartographer. Hello. Thank you for joining. But yes, I would just suggest to go through your article and see what points you would be confused at if you didn't know anything about your world. And once you do that, then it will help you to be able to help other readers to know. Dream Cartographer says, LOL, perfect obligatory timing. Yes, it is. Aaron Rye says, hiya, where'd he go? Hello, Aaron, how are you? Byzantian says, I completely forgot to add any link. That's okay. As I said, the article's quite long, so you could even put article blocks in the sidebar to fill it up, or add links later. It's totally fine, understood. Summer camp articles are rushed, most of them anyways. Next we have Maltacrai, and I believe Maltacrai username is Maltacrai, so we will search it in the spreadsheet. Oh, that was it. I was about to click it, and I thought that that wasn't it, but that was it. It's Dahmra Menez. Dahmra Menez, maybe? Not sure. Maltacrai, quick note. Dahmra Menez, yes, was right. Dallin, think Indo-Egyptian dark elves that worship snakes instead of spiders. Neoyotep, native country of the Dallin, big desert. They are slowly terraforming. Aaron said, just noticed you on my wife's Discord server and thought I'd drop in for support. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you dropping by. All right. If you would like to check out Dahmra Menez, then please click that link in the chat. There's a nice map here. The article is not too long, so we can move this. And I do see it says to be moved later here, which is nice addition. Right now it's in Summer Camp 2022, but you're going to probably file this under characters or something like that after Summer Camp. So, Dahmra Menez. I am the voice of Dahlia and her people, and they tell us what Dahlia is, and it says this article is incomplete, placeholder to be expanded on later. I like those little, you know, additions. While Zudai does make a point that I was going to make. Man, I love that map, says Wild Zugai. And I was looking down here instantly, and I was trying to find, like, where is the credits to this map? But I'm thinking maybe it's the whole world map. So maybe the map is credited on here, down here, maybe, hopefully. I believe that it should, okay, so I don't see any credits to the map. I believe that you should credit the map because whether you used a program or you did this or you got it commissioned or whatever it is. Vasemasti says, do I see a river crossing the entire continent? Yeah, I'm not sure. This looks like something that goes through the whole continent. This is a nice map. Please do credit this map. You said I made the map on Wonderdraft. That's great. So you should give yourself credit and you should let us know that you did it on Wonderdraft so that if we want to make a map on Wonderdraft as well, we can do it. And also if we, you know, see this map and think it's awesome, we can know that you made it. So it's good to credit art even if you did it yourself or even if you used a website. It's always great to credit art. Thank you so much. Vasemasti says perhaps a Rift Valley. I mean, Cedra Honnet says Vasemasti, perhaps a Rift Valley. So I don't know what this long body of water is through this whole continent, but it is very interesting. And that is a good travel source. You can use this to, you know, travel the whole land on that river or whatever it is. So this is an interesting map, as everybody is mentioning, and that's just all the more reason for you to please credit yourself for creating it and credit the website that you used. And it can be something simple. You can just literally just put in the put in the footer of every page, just say world map created by me using Wonderdraft. That's all you have to do, and that would be great. So let's just see the quote. I am the voice of Dahlia and her people. If the desert does not bend to my will, then I will turn the very sands to glass and reforge it to my design. And I'm thinking that must be a quote from Dahmra Menez. World Keymaster says, I don't see any river crossing the map.
Obligatory associate.
I see a division rift between two continents and many, many small rivers. Chryselia, thank you for following. Yes, so this seems like this might be two different, actually three different pieces of land that are just across the way from each other. possibly. Maltacrai says not sure what a rift valley is, to be honest. Basically, a very large strait between the central land masses created by Jaren, the god of the oceans. So thanks for that world building there. And it's funny how just looking at a map can create so many conversations. This is a very interesting map, by the way. It seems like it is... so I see the poles are cold. And yeah, this is nice. This is a nice map. Excuse me. Alright, so there's familial connections. Husband Emnath Menez, deceased. Daughter Gamila Menez, 61 years old. Son Xavier Menez, 43 years old. And daughter Chione Menez, 28. Dream cartographer says, jump scared again. Knew it was coming. Got spooked anyway. That's the same with me. I'm like, whoa. Do you know, I just looked at the count and I have 97 followers now. I'm like, what on earth? Thank you guys so much for following me. But every single time I hear him, it still jump scares me. And if you guys didn't know, that is someone else would saying obligatory associate whenever somebody follows me. Maltacrai says all family names pronounced correctly. Ah! Yes! Thank you. That was a great accomplishment. World Keymaster says, and if a god created it, then it can be unnatural or natural. World building at its finest when able to explain in such an easy way. Exactly. So, yeah. So technically, if it's like a godly being that created it, you can say that it's natural. Or, if the god is a character, then it's man-made, but not really man-made, depending on the species of what the character is. But anyway, yes, everything can get jumbled up, but that's the fun of world building. Dream cartographer says nobody expects the obligatory associate. They do not. Born into wealth as the daughter of a high priestess, Dahmra was afforded many privileges in her youth. She was raised with tutors in a guarded temple and became a scholar of Neothep. Which you told me how to pronounce that. Hold on, let me scan up. Neothep. Neothep, yes. She became a scholar of Neothep history and culture. It was in the great temple of Bakistan as well that she learned combat from the guard captains and soldiers stationed within, though it is rumored that one of the Eyes of Dahlia, which there's another link there, that served her mother, taught her many skills as well. She regularly attended religious ceremonies and festivals with her mother and attendance to build connections and charisma with key officials in the city. The girl was raised with everything she needed and more to become the leader of Bakistan, and from there, all of Neothep. Dahmra Menez is the current high priestess of Bakistan and leader of the Dalan people. And they tell what those are. She took the position over from her mother upon her death and has ruled Bakistan for 131 years. During her reign, Neothep's economy has prospered, with unemployment and poverty being heavily diminished across the country. Most of this has been attributed to her strict policies enacted across all cities. Education is enforced upon all children once they reach the age at which they can retain knowledge. Access to alcohol is extremely limited outside of days of rest and festivals. And labor is forced upon all those who will not or cannot find a profession, just to name a few. Many met these changes with adversity, especially in regards to alcohol limitations and forced labor, but the results for the nation could not be argued against. The High Priestess of Bakistan is also credited for reuniting the priesthood after hard times in Neothep. During her mother's rule, the country fell into a depression due to a failing economy and pressure from conflicts with the Ellen, I would think, and the War of Magi Ascension. The Shashril were particularly antagonistic during this period as well and disrupted many essential trade routes across the desert. After she assumed the role of High Priestess, Dahmra reinvigorated military presence between the cities, fortifying them and protecting the roads. It is known that she also struck a deal with the Shashril to let trade caravans pass through. What she offered in return is unknown. She also oversaw the succession of new high priestesses in Noyaki, Neoipatep, Inominoli, forcing the retirement of their predecessors after deeming them unfit and unworthy to continue ruling over their regions. Dahmra's actions have always been swift and resolute. She refuses to announce war or displeasure, often striking down enemies before they are aware she has recognized them as such. Though her skills in war and subterfuge and the aggressive use of her retinue of eyes, Dahmra has established herself as one of the most fierce leaders Neoyatep has seen. And she says, I care not that you distrust me. That makes things easier. What do I have to hide if you would not even believe the truth? That is something. What do I have to hide if you would not even believe the truth? Lots profound. Conflict with the Elhin, the 3-day king. Shortly after the birth of her son, Dahmra received word that contingent Elhin had assaulted Inominoli and defeated the garrison there with intention of marching on Baxen. Contrary to the standard procedure and the advice of the other high priestesses, she left the city's walls with a contingent of her own to meet them in the desert. Her husband at the time, Amnath Menez, took this opportunity to stage a coup and establish himself as the first high king of Baxen. He claimed that this plan to expose herself was one of madness, and her established policies placed too many restrictions on the Dallin people. Amnath symbolized what many Dallin had whispered about, a potential to end the matriarch that held them in contempt. Much to his disappointment, her suicide mission did not play out as such. After 3 days, Dahmra returned victorious and marched into the Grand Temple, unmolested by the fear-stricken guards. She emerged the next morning for victory celebrations. Amnath was never seen again. Wow. So he thought that he could take over when she left, but she came back. So this person seems to always have plans up her sleeve, and though her ways are sometimes unconventional and some people disagree with her, her results seem to be speaking for themselves. So this is a quite interesting character. Thank you so much for sharing. I would like to learn more about her family members. I'm sure that the articles probably are not done yet. That's okay. But if they, if and when they are done, I would suggest linking them. These quote boxes are a nice addition. And then I would say just the sidebar. It's such a great thing that this sidebar is almost the same length of the article. Putting just one little piece of art there, even if it's just a decal or some kind of insignia or something, would be nice to just fill up the space. Or either just spacing down, like tab down her family connections, or bold this a bit and make it like a bigger header, and that will push this down to make it where the sidebar is even. Or if you want to put this in a container box or something to make it a little bit bigger so that it pushes this down and the sidebar is even, that would be great. Other than that, very interesting. I like how you linked all of the things that we wanted to know more about. And some things are bolded, but of course you said it's probably not done yet, so you will link them when they are done. Maltacrai says they are not done yet. I have the article for the conflict completed, but haven't linked it yet. Understandable. Art is incoming for a lot of the characters, just working with my wife and friends on that. Understandable. So, yes, other than that, very interesting article, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. That was very interesting to read. Did I put it in the chat? Yes, I did. So you guys can go ahead and go and read that one yourself to click around and learn more. If you are just joining us, we are reading Great Leader of Their People articles. And if you are a World Anvilite being and you have written articles, please please read my article with your one wisp, just one. And once you do that, your name will be in the queue and I will read your article next. Maltacrai says thank you for the read and feedback. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Let's see. While we are waiting, there's a lot to be explored. So you can click the little wisp under the chat and you will see different choices that you can use with your little channel points. You can ask me to read your article, and I'm only reading Great Leader of Their People articles right now, but it's okay. You can redeem a Celebrate article, where I will celebrate. You can redeem Highlight My Message, which is not really necessary, in all honesty, because the chat is not so bustling that I'm not able to read every comment. But if you want to highlight yourself, go ahead and do so. We also have a Wordy Tell Us a Funny True Story, and it's quite cheap, especially considering that that's an embarrassing story that I have to tell you. You have a co-host do something and a someone say something. Co-host do something will make him a handsome co-host say something in the chat, and someone say something will have me play an audio clip of someone else would, voiced by the awesome John McNally, saying a random thing. We also have a hijack stream, which I have increased the prices, and I believe that an ad is playing. If an ad is playing for you, I will continue saying these things, though. Hijacking stream makes it where you can make me tell a story, read a story. That's not one of these articles. A hacking stream game time will make me play a random game as well. I have more of these things that are to be purchased, and I will add more and more things to the shop as we continue.
Obligatory associate!
And another obligatory associate has joined. Thank you so much for following Black Death Zero. And yes, World Keymaster did confirm that that was an ad. And since there's an ad, yes, there's an ad. I don't know. We will wait until that ad is completed. Another associate as the ad ends, says World Keymaster. Thank you for letting me know that the ad is over. But yes, so you probably missed some of the last things in the shop that I was saying that we have. Hijack stream, story time, means I go read a story or play an audio drama story of mine. I might read a story of mine or a story, another story. That is not one of these articles. And then we have also game time, which makes me go play a game. It can be an interactive game with you guys, or it can just be a weird game that I just play on stream. Really quickly. So those are the different things that you can buy, and there will be more things added to the shop. If you have an idea of something that you would like me to add to the shop, please do say so in the chat. That would help me as well, because I have just become an affiliate earlier this week, and I am trying to get my stuff together, but yeah, there's a lot that is going on. And everything's so exciting happening all at once. Anyway, though, I see that I don't have that many other people that are saying that they want me to read their articles. So we can... Dufanzy says, ads are done. Congrats on becoming affiliate. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Only thanks to you guys. I think I've read the 4 articles that I was supposed to read from you guys that have joined me. Thank you for joining me. So I'm just going to use the rest of these, the time, to read some of these articles and just get rid of these that are up here that the people said that they will not be able to attend. So we will do this Vhi Grave-Rhitt. Not sure how to pronounce it again. And that is something that I probably say several times. If I had a penny for every time I say I'm not able to pronounce something. So yes, they have a pronunciation here, which is awesome. Vhi Grave-Rhitt. Yeah, let's highlight this so that I can know that I read it. And there's the link in the chat, so if you want to go see it, you can. This is by DarkNymfa? I'm thinking that's how you pronounce it. Not sure. Representative Vhi Grave-Rhitt. She, her, they, them. Vhi Grave-Rhitt was the first Icht representative to join the UGF's council, and there's a link to it, largest union of people across the galaxy to ever exist. And her formidable work set the tone for the galaxy over. I don't know what these are. Ichts are something, and there's a link to them. Icht are devil spawn, humanoid from the planet Task. So yeah, that's a species. Thought of as little more than a brute, a primal sort of savage. Vhi provided to her fellow representatives, and via then the entire galaxy, that Ichts are as capable as everyone else, intimidating appearance and hostile home planet and all. So this is quite a long article, but we will scroll through a bit. Physical description: pretty ordinary for an Ichid, though slightly taller than average, appropriately buff with strong muscles to lend her strength. Her horns are smooth and curved backwards, her pointed ears mid-sized. She was in excellent shape and maintained throughout her entire life, even as a representative. She lived a fairly ordinary life on Taski, back when it was still unknown to the galaxy. She was well liked among those who knew her, the right mix of determined, steadfast, and charismatic for her fellow Ichts to know she was a dependable sort of person. She was known to be ruthless, operating at least 60% on spite alone. Tell her she couldn't do something, and you just guaranteed that she will, in fact, manage to do it. So this is a very stubborn person and a very determined person. Failures and embarrassments. Though it's hard to pinpoint a specific failure, at least one big enough to measure up against the good she did over the course of her life. Vhi did have a major failing, or something she considered a failure anyhow. She considered her inability to keep up with the changing of the galaxy as time went on a failure. Felt that she failed to adapt fast enough as she aged. This ended up being the reason for her to retire from her post. So yes, Wild the guy says rebellious. So I guess she wanted to keep up with the times, and she felt she couldn't anymore, so she retired. She was known to dress up nicely to the point of being zealous about doing so. It made many think she was shallow, getting her position just for the glamour of it, but in truth she enjoyed the opportunity to indulge in something she never could on Task. Like many Ichts, Vhi has little use for wealth, though she has acquired fairly much of it. For an Icht, working as a representative for decades, she was paid well, though she was never shy about spending it. Still, her safe home on Haven allowed her to acquire quite a few possessions, things which she never would have or could have kept on Task, where a sudden volcanic eruption could have wiped them from existence again. Upon her return to Task after retirement, she gave away quite a few of her possessions for that exact reason, with the remainder being given to her clan after her death. So this is a very interesting article. It's like an intergalactic kind of sci-fi world, it seems. This little sidebar has a lot of information, but I would suggest some of these things that we are curious about. They can link in the sidebar with article blocks to fill it up. We could also use some character portrait if there is one. I see a description: black eyes, deep blue, almost black curly hair, deep blue skin tone. So I can kind of imagine this character without actually seeing it. So yeah, this is a good description. And then if we could have some maybe quotes or some article blocks in the sidebar that help to expand on it, so that we can have more information, and so that the contents are even with the sidebar. That would be my only suggestion. Some of it is, there's not too much that I will wonder about pronunciation, but like task, I know that that is a planet, and I guess that the article's probably not done yet. And then the character, the species she is, I like when you click it, it goes to it and it tells you how to pronounce that. But yes, other than that, pronunciations and links to things that we don't know about, just extending the sidebar, and that would be my only advice. So I thank DarkNymfa for sharing this article. And I'm going to do that so that I can know that this is a person that was not present for the reading. Let's see. If anybody else has an article they would like me to read, feel free to let me know. If not, I'm going on to the next one, which is Beithir Hacende, the Dark Storm Queen, I believe. So we will put that in the chat so that you can know to go to that one. All right. Beithir Hacende. Beithir Hacende. Yes, I like how they have the pronunciation there. The Dark Storm Queen. High Mage Queen, aka the Pale Lady. Quite a long article, so we're going to skim a bit. Becoming queen was unexpected. Varian was first born, healthy, capable. There was never a reason for me to expect to have become queen, to have to take the throne in his place. Life is truly unpredictable and cruel at times. With everything that has happened, Varian, and Dad being in no condition to rule for various reasons, is now my responsibility. Our people need a leader. I will rise to the challenge, rise to the throne. At least my people were all right with my taking the throne. It was probably expected, especially since Varian was so clearly in no condition. I'm tired, but I'm ready. I've been preparing myself for this, to take the throne. I've been preparing to be the only member of my family left alive. Thank the gods, this isn't the case. I have support. I have help. But ultimately, I am the queen. I am the ruler. I am their protector. I will do everything I can to keep the Elgath Order's hands off them, even if it costs me my life. So, once again, this is an introduction that is spoken by the queen herself, it appears. I would suggest maybe putting this in quote box so that it can stand out from the rest of the text, and so that we can you know that it's something special and something different being narrated by the queen herself. Then we have physical condition, lay and strong, quick like lightning, strong and agile. She clearly is in good physical condition. While no warrior, she's much more capable of throwing painful punch or kick. Oh, she is more than capable of throwing a painful punch or kick. There are several lines of tattoos on her body, the most prominent ones being along her collarbone, though they are usually hidden under her clothes. Those seal away some of her intrinsic powers, those of which she has no control over. The seals are lovely, tattooed with slender purple lines flowing from one shoulder to the other. The others run down her spine, helping her with her storm magic, especially the powers over lightning, as she can channel large amounts of it through her body. The glyphs help prevent the surges from stopping her heart. She also wings on her back, resembling a dragonfly's. There are 3 sets, the top and bottom pair in line with each other, with the center set overlapping the other 2 slightly and situated about an inch closer to her spine than the others. They connect to her back by her shoulder blades, lying down her back and dragging slightly on the ground due to their large size. So this is an interesting character, and World Keymaster says, I will take my leave now. Have a good continued reading session. Thank you for joining, World Keymaster. Have a blessed day, and I appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, so this character has lots of description, which is nice, even though there's not a picture of the character. So, she and her twin were born on the coldest night of winter. So, Varian, I guess, is her twin brother. Eyes, summer sky blue, bright, round, and open with draconic-like pupils. So that is an interesting description of eyes. Summer sky blue, bright, round. Hair long flowing, hip length, fiery red hair that is usually kept back from her face in an elegant braid. Nice. Extremely fair and flawless skin. We have her at 5 feet 6 inches and 120 pounds. She carries a number of nicknames, though it depends on who's talking to her as to what they're calling her. Some of the most common ones are Din Real, meaning silent princess. This is a nickname she carries even as queen. It is a loving term used by a number of her people. They will say that she is delicate like a flower, but just like the flower that carries her nickname as well, strong, blooming, despite hardship. Mistress of Storms. As a powerful storm mage, it does appear that she commands the worst of hurricanes with little effort, though that is not the case. Controlling storms is difficult, and she is hailed for her skills. The Witch Queen. This is one that the most well known across the world. I think this is one that is the most well known across the world. Even the Koruskarins, who study the concept of magic through scientists' lens, calling them kinetics instead of casters, will refer to her by this. It comes from her skill level and power, making her a terrifying opponent. Coupled with her rare darker powers, her own people will call her this to terrify captors. Their confidence in her beloved queen clear. So interesting. She fiddles with her clothes and hands when she's nervous. There's lots of little quirks about her. Highly educated in history and magic, healing, medicine, politics, ruling, and battle tactics. As princess, she sat as her father's court sorceress. There's lots of interesting tips about her. And she has her little relationships with her son and her adopted son. So there's a lot to be learned about this character, and to learn more, please do click the link in the chat and explore yourself, read more. Reign begins officially a little over a month before her 5,524th birthday is something that, yeah, is interesting. How old she is. Does it tell her, what she is? It doesn't tell the species that she is, I don't think, but they live a long time. But yes, thank you so much. Also to Luthein for providing that article. Okay. So now I do see another person has redeemed. Read my article, please. Za, my username is too short, says when you're done with this one. I'm actually here for once, so I can help with pronunciation, which you might need, of course. Always. Please tell me which is your username. Is that your username on World Anvil? Please tell me what your username is on World Anvil so that I can find your article. Za, yeah. Okay. Great. So I guess when you tried to be Za on Twitch, then they told you that the username was too short. But at least you can be Za on, at least you can be Za here on World Anvil. Alright, and we are going to link it in the chat so that you guys can read it. Sienna, Nartouhi, Karpov. Not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Alright, so there it is in the chat, so you guys can click it and check it out. Sienna, Nartouhi, Karpov. I do normally put tooltips for pronunciations, but forgot this time. No problem, because I do know that it's summer camp and we are rushing, and trying to get those articles down on the page. So it's no worries at all. But just when we're needing it up, I would suggest to add those pronunciations in tooltips, which is something that I've advised a lot. So yes, you already have the right idea. Putting those tooltips pronunciations is a great little thing. I don't know what Jink Mebi, is it Jink Mebi? Jink Mebi. Jink Mebi. Alright, I was close. That's a good one. It has pronunciations there. One of the Jink Mebi of the leader cast, Sienna has been a prominent member of the Federation of Za. Your username. For decades. And this is considered the epitome of what it means to be Zion. Skilled, charismatic, and selfless to the calls of the Sevenfold Path. And there's also a link to the Sevenfold Path so we can know what that is. Let's see. This isn't too long of an article. Born in 9972 on the Zahian orbital chome in the system of Cetropum, a Zion core system of some 26.13 trillion people. She was given the birth name Nartouhi by her mother and granted the ancestor name of Karpov to acknowledge her genetic lineage. Her, not sure, feudor, I don't know, or sibling batch, consisted of almost 12,000 other potentials for the leader caste, a large number compared to most generations. Tudor. Alright, got it. Yeah, this is an interesting world. It might not be our own world, but I do see 9,972 is when she was born, which would be futuristic if we're using our calendar. But I don't know if this is, it seems like it might be a different planet or a different world timeline altogether. Chome itself was an industrial center with only 4.9 billion inhabitants. Most of whom were workers and engineers who took asteroids and comets, rendering them down for their raw materials. Figured this was some kind of space-centric world. Vaismasi says, I remember this setting. Za says it's a different system and it's about 12,000 years in the future. Thought so. It does seem quite futuristic. Vaismasi says, wasn't this one with an actual trillion people? Yeah, they're saying they have 26.13 trillion people. And it says Chome itself only had 4.9 billion inhabitants. And that's funny because that's still a lot. And what do you mean, only? Vaismasi remembers discussing the demographics of this. Yeah, so she basically, she was identified early on not only by her top quality genes, but also her innate skills in both the qualities of the local leader caste required and personal charisma. She passed her age 10 assessments easily, being placed in an accelerated training program for her top level leaders. And by the time she was age 16, she was the top of her class in almost all subjects. When she graduated at age 21, far ahead of the rest of the Tudor, she took the name Sienna as her personal name and was quickly processed up the ranks, reaching the rank of Medof, not sure, or a fourth by the age of 24, an almost unheard of achievement. So she did a lot of leveling up really fast because she was very advanced and very talented. No one was surprised when she was promoted to 8th at the age of 43, then up to Mebi when she was only 51, an unprecedented accomplishment. Leader caste personified was often used to describe her, and she was now being used in broadcasts across the Federation of Za as an avatar of how the Sevenfold Path was creating individuals of unparalleled prowess and ability. She undertook several diplomatic visits to the Northrop Alliance, her talents extending to negotiation mainly through sheer force of her charisma. She was often described as supernaturally likable. This is reminding me a bit of one of my characters, which actually someone himself upped in the ranks really fast, considering, and just that charisma is something that people don't know why they even like a person. It's just that somehow they're likable, and that's what it seems like is with her. And this is interesting. This picture, I'm thinking, is probably from, I might be wrong, but I'm guessing, is it from This Person Does Not Exist? Let's see. Is there credits? No. I don't see credits to the image. But please do tell me if that is, if I've got it right. Art Breeder. All right. Art Breeder. Got it. Okay. So yeah, I would suggest putting credits that you created it on Art Breeder. It doesn't have to be necessarily under the image, but at the bottom would be great as well. Yeah, then there's a lot of information about the character, which is nice. A lot of history, a lot of story, and it doesn't just cover like bullet points. It covers like story of her path and stuff like that, which is great. Also, the sidebar is great. I like it, but it's kind of short, considering, especially that there's a long body. So I would suggest maybe putting like an article block of the Sevenfold Path, or the Federation Council, or the Warrior Caste, or like Federation of Za, Northrop Alliance. You can actually like put article blocks of all these things in the side to help fill it up, so that it doesn't seem naked over here in the sidebar. But yeah, this is an interesting character, and I will have to read more about it later. I appreciate you sharing it. Very nice layout as well. I like the CSS here as well, how when you you know, hover over something, the links, that looks nice. This theme that you're using is very cute. The colors and the sci-fi, it puts me in the sci-fi mood. That's why I figured this was a sci-fi world. So yeah, very neat. Thank you for reading it. Thank you for sharing it. Maltacrai says, I've got to get some work done and dip out for now. Good luck with the rest of the stream. Thank you. You have a blessed day, and thank you so much, Maltacrai, for stopping by and allowing us to read your article. One on Colonel says, everybody here, an interesting character too. That's right. So many interesting characters that we are reading. And we are interesting characters. Let's see. Is there anybody else in the chat that wants me to read their article? If not, I will go back up to this. And we have about 30 minutes left in the stream. And I'll just read Wilma Woods by Lazulum 97. Lazulum 97, I believe. I read these because these people said they probably won't be here, so I can read them anytime. Check out this article and click the link that I've just posted in the chat. This is not too long. Wilma Woods. There's a very short sidebar just with children. Delilah Deadwood. Let's see. Wilma Woods was the community leader of Spider Run. During the time of Almonte colonization, she served as an unofficial representative of the frontier people. During the 14th and 15th centuries, Alma was competing with other Guildwellian nations for control of the common land. One of their primary focuses in doing this was to spread their new variety, if Edenism. Okay, I think it means of Edenism. This, however, forged direct opposition of the many and varied common lander traditions. Ammonite laws aimed to borderline forbid the practice and form of religion, superstition, or any other not Edenite-based worldview. Additionally, there was a growing sense of Gaian purity. As Gaian Guildwellians pushed further north, they encountered more and more people who blurred the lines of the contemporary racial classes. Specifically, they encountered several populations of what would be considered both Gaian and Aelish ancestry, which the settlement of Hasium, being primarily populated by Gaian Ammonites, most of the common landers were pushed into the frontier areas of Spider Run. Woods was the daughter of an Ammonite soldier man and a common lander farmer woman. Her father was favored among Hasium's guard, and thus she was considered a more refined breed, sort of a Gaian among thorns. Growing up, she was given work in Hasium's public records building and got promoted to be a secretary in their justice building. Because of this position, she was seen by the people of Spider Run as their eyes and primary influence in the colony's affairs. Following the boot leather riots in the 1380s, she was appointed as representative of Spider Run. Among her most notable actions was the Spider Run Compromise of 1394. In 1394, the colony of Hasian began an initiative to deforest Spider Run and ship its lumber to the Ammonite colonies in Sagil, not sure, which went through shortages during winter due to the cession of House Woodman from the Sagil Union. This meant that Hasium would be forcing Spider Run's common landers out and moving the new lumber company in. To help fix the situation, Woods managed to convince the mayor to consider letting the company use common lander employees. This allowed for separation of a residential area from the forest for the common landers to stay, as well as a surplus of jobs for them. Additionally, Hasium wouldn't have to put in as much effort or money to create rapid transportation from the city to the country if the laborers lived nearby. Adopting parent of Delilah Deadwood. Okay, so, okay, I do see that you guys said there was an ad. There's an ad now. All right, maybe you did not hear the last of it. There is an ad. There is an ad. Okay. So while there's an ad, we will say something quickly. This here, the sidebar is ad is over. Show 'em swagger, says well, the guy. Ad is over. I don't know what show 'em swagger is. I did not even know what the ad was. Hopefully it was something that was at least mildly entertaining. Anyway, yeah, so I just kind of at the end, it was the end of the article, and it says adopting parent of Delilah Deadwood. We do see the link to Delilah Deadwood. We can figure out about this person. I would suggest either expanding the sidebar a bit with some of these things. Some of these, there's lots of stuff if I do not know like about it. I don't know what Spider Run is. I don't know what Amonti is. I would suggest also pronunciation key, please, because I do not know how to pronounce some of this stuff. And then linking like article blocks in the sidebar about some of these things that we don't know. Because if we're not familiar with the world, we do not know what these things are. So reading it, I was kind of not able to know what was happening because I do not know what these things are. So like the Edenism thing, I don't know about that. If you could link that. I know there's probably articles that you have that are not, you know, there's probably articles that you have that are not completed yet and stuff like that. But if you do complete them, when you do, please link them so that we can understand what this article is telling us, because we do not know what it's telling us. Dream Cartographer says, weirdly enough, I didn't get any ads. So this is something that I'm going to have to figure out, because Zugai subscribed, but he's getting ads, and Dream Cartographer did not subscribe, and she's not getting ads. So that's just something very strange. But then I know Dufanzy is not subscribed, but they're getting ads. Colonel's not subscribed, and he's getting ads. You're gonna get a full 10 ads, Dream Cartographer. Oh no. So maybe it's from the time you joined the stream, and then it's calculating time or something like that. And yeah, they might just pile on the ads for you. I don't know. Also, somebody earlier in the chat suggested that maybe it's because they had ad blocker on their computer or whatever. I don't know. So I don't know about this. I'm just a new affiliate, and I'm going to try to look at things and figure out, you know, what's happening, because I'm confused myself. And I cannot see the ads when you guys see them. I can only rely on you guys telling me that there's an ad when you guys tell me in the chat. So yeah, there's going to be something that I have to do with it. Go to settings, something about that. I don't know. I'm going to try. All right. How about we go to General Omolara? General Omolara by EbonxGaming. Oh no. Szeipusz, I'm not sure how to pronounce, and they said don't bother pronouncing it. Says, I mentioned the ad blocker, but I saw 2 ads already. So wow. So I guess that ad blocker didn't work then. I have no idea about anything. I need to see if there's some kind of plugin that I can have that will let me see the ads. Well, Zugai says, it says that some streamers can enable ads. Yes, I know. We can, if you are an affiliate, they can show ads on there. I can see if I can disable ads. I don't know if that was gonna work. And then also, you're supposed to be able to let subscribers not see ads. So that is the thing that's confusing me. But I will figure it out, guys. I will figure it out. Or I'll try at least. We are going to see General Omolara, which is a character. Omolara, which I'm glad they have a pronunciation here. Interesting character, not too long. General Omolara. In a land where hope, kindness, and support are severely lacking, General Omolara embodied all these attributes and more. General Omolara, one of the exalted, and there's a link to that so that we can know what this is, was hailed as one of the greatest leaders of her time, known for an abundance of compassion, as well as a penchant for displaying her prodigious martial prowess. She was the youngest exalted ever, and at her prime was considered to be the most powerful exalted in existence. She, however, disappeared shortly after her 40th birthday and has not truly been seen since. Many believe her dead, but there are some that still search the rumor mills for mention of a Persian woman freeing encampments across Lamp single-handedly. And there's a link to that place so that we can know what it is. Let's see. Current status, missing for the last 26 years. Oh, man. Location, Lamp. So it tells us where she is, maybe. We would, if we were to take it at its word, she's in Lamp, purging. Freeing encampments. So she's 66 years old. Dark brown, sincere eyes. I like that description. And this picture does show that it seems that her eyes are dark brown and sincere. Long, curly, dark brown, usually braided hair, dark caramel skin with glowing cheeks. We are the torch that lights the way is a quote from her. And she's aligned with the Purgers. And we will figure out what the Purgers are because there's a link to those. This is a very cute art. by the way. And I would like to know, is there a... Yep, character portrait image. Exalted Woman by EbonxGaming via Midjourney. That's Midjourney? Wow. Okay, so AI, Midjourney is an AI software. And it can be scary sometimes. An AI generated this. Like, usually when AI generates something, it's some kind of, like, abstract face or something like that. But yeah, that, I would think that somebody drew that. So, that's a good one. The colors are nice and warm, and it fits with the tone of the world, the page. It's just nice addition. Colonel says, I think I heard on a stream somewhere it is meant to help bring revenue into the streamers by showing them. Probably pittance if they do. A penny or two per ad. Yes. I have not received a payout yet, of course, being just a new affiliate. But I did, you know, try to check out some settings and stuff like that, and it doesn't look like I'm on the path to making millions, at least not yet. I would say that your pennies is probably very accurate, Colonel. So I don't know. And I did try to experiment with something because I was like, what is this about ads? And then I said, are you sure you want to take off ads? Tell us, why are you taking off ads? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just experiment with this later. It's too much. Yeah. But, of course, they're making way more off of the ads than I will ever see. But it's supposed to help me a little bit as well. So I appreciate you guys bearing with the ads while I try to figure out what's going on. Well, Zugai says I haven't gotten results that good in Midjourney. Exactly. That's probably one of the most interesting, intricate arts that I've seen that somebody has told me is in Midjourney. Vasemasti says, if you're willing to wrangle the prompts a little bit, Midjourney is immensely powerful. Yes, it seems like it's a good tool, and like, I guess putting in certain words will make certain things happen, and it's just interesting seeing what a computer will do when you put in the different prompts, and it's scary and it's fun and it's exciting. And like I said to someone, I said, you know, there's soon going to be probably museums with like that kind of art in it, and says, oh, this is by AI so-and-so, whatever. Like, it's funny. There's even another Ambolite made AI songs in their article, and I'm like, wow, AI songs? Okay. So I said soon AIs are probably going to be releasing full albums and having art in museums and everything. And lawsuits, says Dream Cartographer. Of course. Exactly. And somebody said something about NFTs selling. Something was about to be controversial, that they're allowing you to sell something created on an AI generation software. And I'm like, that's about to get really messy, because then it's like, well, I made it, but I made it using this software, and then now this software, like, what is it? I'm just like, some of the stuff, I'm like, what's happening? I have no idea. Base Musty says AI songs have been a thing for years. Yes, they have. I think I first heard of this like 10 years ago. And NFT, there's a... Yes, NFTs are so weird to me. I don't understand. It's just like... Yeah, I'm not even going to get into that. But yeah, I know the AI songs, they're quite wild, but I'm saying with the new resurgence of AI everything, I feel like it's going to be just like a weird boom of this. You're better off not understanding them, says Vase Musty. Well, Zugai says, I've heard better things of DALL-E 2, but it's close to tryouts. But perhaps I imagined specific things, and I'm just disappointed that it doesn't look as good as I imagined it. Yeah, so yeah, DALL-E 2, I have not tried it. But I know that I did try one AI thing one day, and it just was weird. I don't know. I mean, it takes a while, and I know that you like have to buy coins to try again and invest in it and stuff like that. So it's a business, of course, and it does produce some good results sometimes. But it is a lot. And Vase Massey says you can only understand NFTs if you have special brain worms. Yeah. Colonel says AI is taking over and gonna send the Terminators after us soon. Uh-oh. Wouldn't be surprised. Byzantian 13 says Midjourney usually requires multiple attempts to polish a picture. Correct. But I've seen some interesting ones in Midjourney, and this one was amazing. I did not know, I didn't expect that to be a Midjourney. A lot of the things I've seen look like you know, stained glass, and they look good, but they look kind of abstract, and they look nice, but they look kind of abstract. But this one actually is looking like somebody painted this. Like, you would even sometimes see like their, like, something in their face looks messed up, but she actually looks like somebody drew that. Vismasi said it also helps if you understand the theory of machine learning a bit. There are certain things AI is prone to doing that are kind of counterintuitive. Yeah. So I hear that you have to use different wording and different, you know, colors and keywords and all that kind of stuff. And if you put the right words in, it's like a magical machine that outputs something amazing. So, yeah. Byzantian says that depends on randomness of seed. So yeah, there's a lot to think about with these AI things, and there are some people who are really invested in it and have become like experts at it. So it's like you said, learning a machine. You have to do what you can and figure things out and trial and error, and sometimes you come out with a beautiful picture. Cedra Hanet says, I have noticed that the quality of AI art improves if you have a subscription. Well, naturally. That is a good conclusion to come up to. And I wonder why that is. All right, so let's get on to Omolara. She was born to a family in a mining encampment. Her parents both died shortly after her 10th birthday. She was taken in by another family. As a youngling, she was forced to clean the metals and ores found by the miners, as all were forced to work as soon as possible. Through all of this, so early, she was always seen smiling, as if she created joy for herself. Oh, that's nice. And it's sad, but it's nice that she's smiling through it. That's very relatable sometimes. Things happen. You just try to stay as optimistic as you can. 5 years later, a great gift was given to her for her birthday. Freedom, granted to her by a purger company commanded by an exalted aspirant. Which there's a link to exalted still. And it seems like this is probably going to be linked soon also. Aspirant, maybe. An exalted aspirant? So somebody who's aspiring to be exalted? I don't know. But EbonxGaming is probably going to link the article soon or explain later. She was given the choice of joining the company and the safety it afforded, or wandering inland. Many from her encampment took their chances wandering out, but Omolara jumped at the chance of adventure. It became apparent very quickly that Omolara was a gifted child. Any task she was set to while with the company, she exceeded expectations. After being with the company for a while, Omolara decided that she wanted to learn to be a purger. She was told she would have to wait till they arrived at a special training barge, which there's this is bolded as well, which I figure this means that they're going to add links later, where they can test her skills. Arriving at the barge, they left Omolara in the care of the head instructor, who wasted no time in beginning her training. Omolara was a prodigy, one of the finest to come through the training barge, according to the head instructor. She was so young, though, so many did not pay her much attention. Not until there was a training tourney where all current cadets went against each other. Omolara did not win, but she made a lasting impression on everyone involved. Her purger company returned to the barge after her graduation and took her back as a full purger. Omolara fought side by side with her fellow purgers for many years. Her personality always strengthened the resolve of those around her, and she was well loved by them all. The exalted aspirant granted her position of general when she was 20 years old, the youngest ever in her company's history. As general, she led many rescues and battles. It was the siege of Onia, which there's another bold, so I figured that's going to be linked as well, where she cemented her legacy and was held as exalted. After becoming exalted, Omolara started her own purger company, and the first rule she established was that they were not to call her exalted, for she was no different than them. She may lead, but that requires her to be present with them in battle, and therefore she wants to just be called General Omolara. 20 years went by, and Omolara established a name for herself, becoming one of the most powerful purgers in history, and her company was just as famous. No one knows how or why, but shortly after her 40th birthday, Omolara vanished without a trace. So this is a very interesting character as well. I like the descriptions. It's a mysterious mystery around her. She was very talented, and she was very optimistic, and she worked through what she could do, and she, you know, made it up in the ranks. And even when she got high up, she said, I'm no different from you guys. So that is a very admirable, great leader of her people. This is a very interesting character, and I would love to learn more about this world, actually. And then the sidebar is almost even. I could just see maybe adding one article block, possibly. Maybe the Purgers article block, since they were mentioned so much. If you just put a Purgers article block here, not just the link, but like the block where you see the picture and the little word snippet underneath or something like that, that would just help us to extend the sidebar a bit out. And the layout otherwise is nice. And the picture is very enchanting. I appreciate you, EbonxGaming, for sharing this article. And I would love to learn more about this world. Thank you so much again. Now, it is about 2 hours in, and I'm going to catch up on the chat. So, of course, back to the AI. Sidrahanit said, notice the quality of AI art improves with a subscription. Colonel says, surprise, surprise, for the subscription, that is. Vasemasti says, is that because people with subscriptions are better at wrangling prompts? I would figure not, but at least with MJ, I didn't really notice a difference personally, so that's good. Let's see. Byzantian 13 says, I'm a subscriber to Midjourney, and I can tell it take me more attempts than there are free to understand how to form a prompt. So that makes sense. Cedar Hunnit says, it is particularly noticed on Night Cafe. Night Cafe, however, gives you 5 credits a day if you sign up with email for notifications. Base Masti, I imagine subscribers are allocated more system processing power. Interesting conversations about this AI and the assumptions being made. Colonel says, just watch out for sentences involving nuclear warheads, bioweapons, etc. Then you'll know what the AI has planned for us. Ah, no. Vase Musty says, can't say about Night Cafe since I haven't used it. I could see it being a thing. While Zugai just hijacked the stream and said, where are our sandwiches to go? That is a reference to, I'm sure, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, when Vulcan Skull said, yeah, we haven't got all day. And you, where are our sandwiches to go? Just hijacked the stream when I was about to end it. So, well, okay. Story time. Byzantian says, Biz is enough. Alright, I'll call you Biz from now on. That's much easier. Thank you. Make Wordy read a random story. So I'm gonna read a random story. Let's see what kind of random story I can read. Let me go to my I'm gonna go to my prose website, my prose profile, and see if I can scroll a random story. All right. This is a sample from Winsome Horde. This story is not the best. Cedra Hana says, cucumber curry chicken sandwich. What? Someone sub emotes? Yes, Dream Cartographer. He has subscribed, so he has some sub emotes for someone. I tried to make the free emotes, but they're not going to allow me to make free emotes until I've been an affiliate for like a couple of weeks. And I said, drat. But I just said, all right, well, the subscribers get emotes for now. But I'm going to make, yeah, and there's also, there goes Magnar and Sindri emotes. And this is a story about Magnar and Sindri, or Sindri specifically. This is the best story as well. This is called Refusal to Fight, and this is a story about Sindri. I don't think I should read this one. I'm going to read a different one. I'm going to read, perhaps, Burke the Jerk. This is a more lighthearted story to end the stream on. So this is set in my Winsome Horde, World of Winsome Horde, which is a fantasy medieval world. And if you see those emotes of the smiling blonde guy and the questionable looking black curly-haired guy, you would know that this is Magnar and Sindri, which are two brothers in my World of Winsome Horde. So this story is being narrated by Sindri, and Burke the Jerk is their cousin. So I will read this one for you. Burke the Jerk. In Winsome Horde, this story is told about a man both strong and bold. His magnificent muscles were grisly as a bear's, but where his brawn abounded, his brains were scarce. From the village of Hengra he traveled to us. On the day he arrived, he stirred up quite a fuss. "Brother," Magnar shouted as he ran into the room, "you'll never believe who's come to town." "The misfits of Towngoon?" I asked with much interest. "It's been a while since we've seen their traveling show." "No, Sindri," he laughed. "It's a person we know." "A person?" I pondered. "Family?" Magnar nodded as his smile broadened. My eyebrows furrowed as I tried my hardest to figure out who it was, and why Magnar was smiling and chuckling so. "Have you given up?" he grinned impatiently as I inhaled and parted my lips. "It's Burke," Magnar blurted before I could speak. "Our cousin Burke?" I grimaced as I remembered the last time he visited. Yes, yes, Magnar laughs. "Good old Burke the Jerk." As he spoke, who chanced to barge through the door? Burke himself. Magnar was muscular, but Burke even more so. He was taller and thicker, too. He wore a thick coat of fur and a Viking's helmet wherever he went and whatever the weather. No matter how hard I try, I cannot recall him wearing any other garb. His hair was ruddy, woolly, and unkempt. He never bothered even trying to braid it, let alone comb it. His beard was thick and his voice was deep. "Hello, my cousins," he bellowed, sending wafts of ale our way, for he always drank in the taverns.
What took you so long?
RPG Dinosaur Bob is raiding me! Welcome, RPG Dinosaur Bob, and thank you for raiding! Hello! Yes, and someone said, "What took you so long when you raid my stream?" Thank you so much, RPG Dinosaur Bob, and hello to everyone who has joined. We are in the middle of reading a story because Wild Zoo hijacked the stream. Aaron says, "I have no fear." Aaron draws near. Wild Zoo Guy says, "What's good?" RPG Dinosaur Bob says, "Evolve." Oh no, you're evolving. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for joining us, even though our stream is just about to end. So we are reading this story set in Winsome Horde, and Burke, the cousin of Magnar and Sindri, has appeared. So let's see. Magnar ran over to greet him, but I stood still in my place. Burke always seemed happy to see us, but I had no fond memories of him. Before I knew it, he was before me, grinning. He laughed and punched me in the stomach jovially, but roughly nevertheless. "Sindri, my good man," he growled as I winced. "Stronger than the last time, I suppose? But you must eat more. You're too scrawny, lad. You need more meat on those bones." I sighed and rolled my eyes as soon as I recovered from the pain. By this time, Burke and Magnar had found seats in the sitting room and were deep in conversation. "So what brings you to Drydenhaven, cousin?" Magnar asked him. "I have not come for fun and games," Burke said loudly, with his dirty feet upon our table. "I have chased me an adversary from Hengra." "Shan't we be privy about it?" Magnar murmured. "Perchance he be lying in wait outside for you." "There be no fear in my bones," Burke laughed. "Come what may, I shall smite the bastard." "Whoever might your enemy be?" Magnar asked. "Whence come he, and why?" "Never mind all those details," Burke arose. "With your help we shall kick this idiot." A loud crash outside startled us all and interrupted Burke. Quite welcome was the disruption, for Burke minded not his manners nor his language. Burke ran outside and yelled loudly. "Show yourself!" he roared. "Shan't we have a plan first?" I spoke, as I followed Magnar outside after him. "Nonsense!" Burke screamed. "We shall fight to the death!" I shook my head. How serious was this really? I never took Burke seriously. Suddenly, a mad clad... Oh, no, I have an error. It says a mad clad. Well, he was quite mad, but it's a man clad similarly to Burke, leapt out from the bush and tackled him to the ground. They tussled and fought, grunting profanities and insults at each other as they pelted each other with their fists and pulled each other's clothes. Magnar and I stood and watched, unsure of what exactly we were looking at. Finally, they pushed away from each other and flung to their feet, both growling through gritted teeth. They drew their weapons and struck them against each other's. I would have surmised they were both drunken, for their weapons fell to the ground more than once, and the other waited for the opponent to collect it again before attacking again. Shaking his head, Magnar finally decided to intervene. "Halt at once!" Magnar screamed, drawing his sword and standing between them. "What be this matter for which you two fight?" Both the men stopped and considered for a long while. In that moment, they each seemed to glean their brains to no avail. "We fight to fight!" Burke roared as he lunged at his opponent once again, but stumbled and fell to the ground, faint with drunkenness. The other man then rose up against Magnar, but my brother delivered a punch that sent him to the ground, lying alongside our cousin. And I'm not sure if there's an ad going on right now, but this is the end of the story, and I wouldn't want the peoples to not see the end of the story. RPG Dinosaur Bob says, "I figured you were nearing end, but now the chatters are your problem." Of course, they are my problem now. Thank you, RPG Dinosaur Bob. Still, I appreciate it. If there is an ad going, please tell me. If there's not an ad going, please tell me. And then I will finish the story, and then we can go. You know, I need to raid people, because for some reason, I had not been able to get up raids and figure out how they work. But I think I have it now, and I think that I can see if we can raid somebody after this. So, yes, Vesmasi said there's no ad going. Okay, great. Let's finish. So the other man rose up against Magnar, but my brother delivered a punch that sent him to the ground lying alongside our cousin. I stared in confusion at all of this. "They'll wake up after a while," Magnar smiled, patting me hard over the back and leading me towards the house. "Never spend too much time in the tavern." This grand misadventure was one of his many. Had he ever triumphs? I can't recall any. So who was the villain and who was the hero? By the shining Lord's heaven, we never may know. And that is the end of this comical little story of Burke the Jerk, which is just one of many instances in the land of Winsome Horde. So there's a lot of funny little things that happen in a Winsome Horde. And there's some serious things that happen in Winsome Horde. Wild Zoo Guy says, "My brother delivered the crispy, juicy, tender chicken sandwich crumbs." What are you talking about? I don't understand it. But thank you so much, everybody, for, joining me today. Thank you, RPG Dinosaur Bob, for rating. Thank you to everybody who redeemed channel points and let me read your articles. Thank you for hijacking the stream at the end when I had literally 2 minutes left. And now the ad... Oh, Wild Zoo Guy says, "My brother delivered the crispy juicy chicken tender crumbs," because it says the ad. So he did see an ad. That's why I wondered. I said, is there an ad going? And Vesmasi said no. But Wild Zoo said yes. And Wild Zoo is subscribed, which is very weird. Anyway, if you don't know the end of the story, I'll just recap really quick. That Magnard just basically knocked the guy out, and then they just went in the house, and Burke and the guy were just laying outside on the ground, and it went off, and that was it. Wild Zoo Guy said Colonel says that Wild Zoo Guy is being punished by the ad for hijacking the stream. Makes sense. Dufanzy said, thank you, first time seeing you stream, and you do a good job. Thank you. I appreciate it. I am very new to this. I only did this one time last year. Nobody could join. I think Paul Cycle World tried to join, and he couldn't even talk because I had, where you had to be in chat for like 10 minutes first and be following me for 10 minutes before you can say something. And then by the time all that happened, I stopped streaming and stuff. So that was just horrible. So this year I said during summer camp, I'm going to stream every day, every weekday. And I did it. And I've become affiliate now. And it's just an amazing ride. I did not expect all of this. And I'm still learning and growing with every single stream. I learn and grow more. So I appreciate all of you guys. As I said, thank you for stopping by, Dufanzy. Thank you, Wild Zoo Guy, even though you hijacked the stream and you said, yeah, for trolling for trolling so dang much. Yes, Wild Zoo Guy is part of Team Chaotix, I'm convinced, because he loves to do a little trolling. But that is what little brothers do, isn't it? And yeah, if you didn't know, he is my little brother. Even though he doesn't look like it, you would think he's older than me if you saw him in person. But he's my little brother, and he shows it. Thank you, Colonel. Thank you, Dream Cartographer. Thank you to everybody who's in the stream. Everybody who's still here. Thank you, everybody. I just keep on saying thank you, but that's because I'm thanking you guys so much. I appreciate it. And yes, I plan to stream again tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern and again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. And if you can join, great. If you can't, it's okay. I am just learning and growing as I go along, and I thank all of you guys so much. Vasemasti says, trolling your sister is the sacred duty of every brother. I think that you are right. Thank you for streaming. Thank you for all the feedback. I appreciate it. Thanks for stream. Everybody's thanking me so much as well, and I can't thank you enough. God bless you guys, and I thank you once again. A big old thank you. Love you guys, and have a blessed and happy time zone wherever you are. God bless. Much success. Thanks so much. See ya.